Welcome to this presentation of the module Identifying Digital Competence Gaps, which is part of the problem-solving competence area. Here you will find the contents for this module. We will begin with a short introduction and address the learning objectives of this module. Then we will address the competence of identifying digital competence gaps. Afterwards, we will see some great tools which will help with this competence in the online classroom. The idea that online teaching is the same as normal teaching but over distance does not represent the whole picture. Online teaching constitutes a newly introduced method which is still uncharted. This is one of the reasons why digital competence gaps are created and further explains why knowledge gaps are usually only addressed within specific subjects such as history or physics. Obviously, computer science is such a subject of which the scope is aligned with some digital competence areas. However, since online teaching relies on digital environments more, students should be taught to locate their digital competence gaps just as systematically. Within this context, conventional teaching methods neglect digital competence gaps. An effective solution to tackle this problem is in the frequent use of some very interesting tools, the choice of which was made based on the problem-solving area of competence. Having said that, let's view the learning objectives. In this module, you will learn how to use digital tools which help in pointing out students' digital competence gaps. You will learn how to motivate students to identify their digital competence gaps by themselves, and you will also learn how to instill into students the mentality of tackling competence gaps confidently and constructively. What do we mean when we say that the competence of identifying digital competence gaps is part of the problem-solving competence area? Problem-solving is transversal, meaning that it applies to every other competence area. This means that you can identify digital competence gaps in every digital context. Identifying digital competence gaps in the online classroom can be achieved by using digital tools which contribute to the identification of knowledge gaps and communicating gaps to the rest of the classroom, as others may have the same gaps without being aware of them. Proficiency in identifying digital competence gaps is measured by the level of understanding of where one's digital competence needs to be improved, and the strategies for improvement based on the digital competence gaps identified. Let's go now from theory to practice. Let's imagine that you're in the physical classroom with students who have little experience using a device for online lessons. Due to extreme weather conditions, the next day's class will be online, and although everybody might be thinking that they can handle the relevant software, in practice a significant number of students may struggle because they were not aware of this gap in this digital competence, which means that more help is needed. This is where two wonderful tools will help your students, Socrative and Quizlet. The tools were chosen because they are great for creating quizzes and assessments, which are very effective at finding and filling the gaps in digital competence areas. Socrative is a tool that comes up easily in mind when the goal is finding one's knowledge gaps. For our purposes, the primary feature of Socrative is creating quizzes to test the knowledge of students on digital competencies. With Socrative, you can easily visualize student understanding while running an activity. Another relevant feature is the exit tickets, which can be an effective way to gather feedback from students at the end of the class. Creating an account is easy with Socrative. Just press sign up for free and follow the instructions setting it up. Then the first screen that you will see is Launch, which is the page you see when you want to start an activity, quiz, space race, and exit ticket. You can find here an introductory video to Socrative. There is also the quick question option below, which you can use on the fly in the classroom, perfect for those moments of inspiration. To learn more about quick questions, click here. Now, to create quizzes, you will need to jump from the Launch tab to the Library. There, you can set the question, the format in which you want them to appear, set the weight of the questions, even to 0 in some cases, and set the standards that you normally follow. To find out more about quizzes, check the resource here. You will be hosting your activity in a room. So one activity equals one room, and while it is ongoing, you can view the results of the answers live by checking the Results tab, and after the activity is complete, you can collect performance reports. For more about reports, you can click here. Now, there are two other options which can greatly enhance student engagement. With the space race, you can make teams of students and have them score points together. Friendly competition can greatly affect performance. You can make various adjustments, such as the assignment of students and the number of teams. For more about Space Race, press here. The other feature I mentioned, the exit ticket, is truly useful when gathering feedback. Students can tell you what they learned, how they felt about what they learned, and where they think they could improve. There are no silly questions after all, and while everybody must remember this during the lesson itself, this is also a good place to ask those silly questions. For more about exit questions, press on the link here. So when should you upgrade your Socrative? You should upgrade when you need to have more than 5 quizzes. You should also upgrade when you want to import a class roster and provide access with your student ID. Upgrade if you prefer to grade manually, and you should also upgrade for advanced sorting and reporting features. To find more about Socrative Premium plans, check the following slides in your presentation. Moving on to Quizlet. Quizlet is a useful tool for engaging educational content such as flashcards, games, and quizzes. Quizlet focuses on practice and memorization of material. From the teacher's standpoint, you can easily track and identify digital competence gaps for students. So, after creating your account by clicking on Sign Up, you will be able to choose a teacher's account and you will finally be on your main page. Press on Add the Study Set and you will start composing a set of flashcards. It is advised that you create 6 or more terms per set for in-class activities. I have placed some interesting resources for Quizlet, which you can find here and here. In Quizlet, you have this core feature. You can use the same sets in different formats, which is a great way to make stronger associations in the brain and retain information. Flashcards are self-explanatory and constitute your basis of logic for making the sets in the first place. Learn is for multiple choice format, test is for true or false, and it's safe to say that your student's favorite will be the last one, which is match. Normally you would expect match to be in the form of 2 opposing lists of terms and their descriptions, while in reality it's a top-down format here in Quizlet, which is way more fun and frankly amazing. When should one upgrade Quizlet? You should upgrade if you want to track student performance, which you can do in the long run. You should also upgrade to remove ads and enable offline access. It's also suggested that you upgrade if you want to scan your material into educational sets, and you should upgrade to use custom images, audio, and diagrams. To find more about premium plans, check the following slides in your presentation. Knowing how much there is to learn in the digital environment can be intimidating, but with the right tools and guidance, it's always easier to tackle our weaknesses. Thank you so much for your attention.